Hello, everybody. You're very welcome back to LeedsBros for Talking Points. Manchester City 3, Leeds United 2. And we're here to break down all the goals, what went right, what went wrong, and all the big decisions in the game. So stick with us. Let us know your opinions in the comments, guys. Of course, make sure you're dropping a like on the video. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button as well. So let us know what's going on in your world. How are you feeling after Leeds United? Battling performance yesterday, but ultimately did end in a defeat. But definitely some signs there that Leeds United can work on and positives that we can take from the game. Dillo, how are you? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, was right. Yeah, hard to kind of sum it up in one word, but I'm going to say, would you say that's probably the most Leeds United game ever?
It had a bit of everything, Dylan, didn't it? I
Yeah,
had I had frustration, I had joy, I had disappointment, I had anger, frustration, everything. I had all the ebbs and flows. And Phil Foden said it himself after the game as well. It was a bit of a weird game. Um, Chalk and cheese from the first half to the second half performance. And we'll break it down. We'll get into it. Look, as I said, there's still a couple of um mistakes that we're seeing in there that we've seen, in the previous weeks that we're still making. And then again, there is a couple of positives to take from the game going forward, going into next week. There seems to be, that kind of half a chance now that we might be able to do something against City and Liverpool, especially with that 3-5-2, that revert in formation that we've all been calling for as Leeds United fans over the last couple of weeks. And Daniel Farke has been turning a blind eye to it. And eventually he done it yesterday going into the second half. And we did look at an awful lot better. So let's hope he does, stick with that going forward, because I think it suits this group of players.
yeah.
It suits us playing three at the back. The wing backs from Bogle and Goodmunson. James Justin did well as well at left back. It was good to see him put in a really good performance. To know that there's a full back there that can push both of them, because if I feel like for the last couple of weeks, Bogle and Goodmunson have kind of had a free run at it. There's been no one really kind of chomping at the bit, and their performance levels have been kind of up and down. So now that they know James Justin is kind of hot in the heels to get a start and might kind of pick their performance up a little bit through the midfield, we look an awful lot better as well. We got a grip in the game when we went to the 3-5-2. And then up front, Dylan, what we've all been saying as Leeds United fans, the two up front now, look, we were calling for Pirro with Calvert-Lewin, but Metch and Calvert-Lewin worked really well, Dylan. The two big men up front, we went a little bit more direct in the second half, and it looked an awful lot better. So here's hoping that it's signs to come.
I'm delighted with the attacking tray. I think Meche and Calvert-Lewin deserve applause because I thought they done very well.
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin being an impact that he was coming on, he was just a pest for their defence. Meche himself, he just held his own. I think it would have been harsh not to start him. I think he needs to keep starting because he's scoring goals. He's scoring every game. Like,
Well,
what's he on
that's
there?
three on the
Goals.
bounce. When you
Three on the
look at,
bounce.
well, it's obviously, what is it? He's had a little bit of luck now, to be fair. The penalty against Everton, cracking finish against Forest, the one against Villa last week when it's, deflected back off him, and then yesterday he gets a little bit of luck as well. But you take them, Dylan. You take them. That's 4 goals for Lucas Meche this season. Who would have thought that when he came in on a free that he'd be, our top goal scorer so far?
Exactly. And then we talked about, me included, Pirro coming in, whatever about Calvert-Lewin. I know he scored, but Meche needs to start for me again. Like, if he goes with two up top, 100% put Calvert-Lewin in the mix there as well. Pirro coming off the bench to make an impact. But I keep saying he needs to utilising players a bit more. Pirro being used, obviously.
Proved yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. And it was great to see, Darren. And, all jokes aside, I'm actually not happy we lost. I'm happy with that bit of performance. I'm happy with that fight. Chaotic start, obviously, with conceding early. But then with the fight there, the fight back was good, and sound like Roy Keane again here, but showed character, showed that sort of, we can do this, and said it loads of times, you included, and people in the chat, put it up to these big clubs, and we certainly did yesterday. So unlucky, as you said, frustration, anger, all different emotions running through, but I'm pleased. I am pleased.
Because
That
at
doesn't mean I
one,
don't want
stage,
Farke.
Dylan, when you see it there after 25 minutes, when they get the second goal, you're thinking, like this could be a long day for Leeds United. And I feared the worst, Dylan, to be honest with you. And I kind of said, if we can somehow get the half time, them 20 minutes and a little bit of added time, if we can get to half time only 2-0, we might have a chance of getting in, regrouping, and coming out the second half a little bit differently. And I didn't know what to expect the second half, Dylan. And he obviously made the changes with Nanto and James. I wasn't too sure at the time what it meant, how we were going to look. Are we just going to try and sit in and soak up all the pressure and kind of keep the scoreline respectable? And he changed it. So plaudits to him, Dylan. That's look, I don't think, in my opinion, that it changes anything in regards to Daniel Farke. He still has an awful lot to do to turn this around, to get the fans back on side and get me back on side. Particularly, I still think it's time for him to go. Personally, I don't think it's the time yesterday to banish the manager, but I don't think this result or this performance changes anything from the manager personally. But I want to kind of focus on the football and the player side, because they put a lot into that game yesterday, ultimately just coming up a little bit short. But then let's get into a couple of the comments here. Loads of people in the building say hello to us this afternoon. Jamie says, we learned that he can change tactics. We did, buddy. We did. And we are going to get into that as well. And look, I didn't think Farke had it in him, and he changed it at halftime, which was a real eye-opener for me. Foden looked offside for their second goal. Yeah, I did see Isaac Johnson on Twitter posted a picture of Phil Foden offside. And look, I think it's one of them where if you don't really kind of shout for it, the officials don't know, VAR don't really check it, don't they not? And they didn't. But yeah, a couple of decisions went that way yesterday. A couple of them didn't. And I think over the course of the season, it balanced itself out. But unfortunate. Danny Rumsey says DJ could be out again with a hamstring. I did hear that. And look, it's just, it seems to be the way of the world now with Dan James, doesn't it? Lately, he's now pushing 28, 29. He's starting to have reoccurring hamstring injuries, and we also know it's a lot to do with his speed as well. So it's just unfortunate. And he showed a bit yesterday in that first half. It was delighted to see him back, but yeah, disappointing that DJ is out. But there's also a part of me, and I don't mean it in a bad way, is that I want to see us play that 3-5-2, and that means DJ doesn't really fit that system. And it's nothing bad against Dan James, but yeah, I think we can go at it without him, Dylan.
Can't rely on one player there. I know we're calling now for, the wing situation with, Aronson coming off. We know that he does the running, but he doesn't do the dirtiness side of it, in the sense of that bit of quality going forward to make sure we get a goal or a threat. But DJ is that. But yeah, you said it yourself there. We need to start utilising our main attack, and our main attack is more or less Bogle and Goodmunson. I know that sounds mad, but I start calling Gabby Giddy Up Gabby, and that's what I'm going to start calling from now on, because he came on as well. He showed some sort of impact as well. So I'm just delighted that he was willing to change certain players. Aronson didn't start, which I was pleased with. No disrespect, he hasn't done it. Just a shake up, and it was needed. And then you going with 5 at the back, it was completely different. And you seen, it looked like the boys, they were comfortable. Darren. And there's something
I think it just suits them, Dylan. It just suits this style of players. The group that we have here, you don't need a blind person to see it. We've all been calling for it as fans. It's that it would suit this style of player. It would suit Bogle. It would suit the back three, the guys in midfield. And then we were saying about Calvert-Lewin the last couple of weeks about him being so isolated up front that we needed to get bodies in and around him. And we were all saying you can call it a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2, whatever way you want to look at it. If obviously you're on the attack, you become a 5. Then in the midfield, if you're on the defence, it becomes a 5. So it transitions fairly easy. But we were all saying this would suit this team a lot better. It's a bit of a head scratch of why it took Daniel Farke so long to try it. And he was asked about it in his post-match yesterday. I think it was Graham Smith that asked him, and he said, look, why haven't we seen this before? And is this something that he's going to adapt going forward? And he said, if it was just as simple as playing the 5-3-2, they'd win every single game, and he would have won the game today, which I don't think it was a right answer from Daniel Farke, because let's be honest, we've seen Leeds United have some horrendous performances away from home this season. And I think that was up there with one of our best. Obviously, Wolves away, they're a poor side. We got the win there. Yeah. But it was a lot better. We looked a lot better. We looked a lot more comfortable in the game, and we got a full hold in the game. So he definitely he has to apply that going forward, Dylan. I think, look, I don't mind at times if he wants to change it to the 4-2-3-1, if he wants to go to the 4-3-3. But I really think our best setup is going to be that going forward, and he has to use it.
It just seems it, but I've seen something on Twitter there, and it was more or less like, if you go down 2-0 at the Etihad, it's kind of a, you ain't coming back into it. So for Leeds to show that kind of mentality to fight the way back into it. Now, you were talking at half time. Look, let's be honest with you, we'll say it as it is. We're going to say, and that's it. Like, we're getting smashed here. It's going to be 5 or 6 going into the net in the second half, but they didn't. And Leeds kind of upped the tempo. Obviously scored twice, rattled City. I don't think anyone expected it. I didn't know I was getting messages left, right and centre of people that were saying, you have this in the bag, lads. I put a bet down then, obviously, for Leeds to win 3-2. I was hoping and praying for that one. But then, does that shot, that it shows really good mentality. Like, it's intact. It's there for the boys. And I think that's the positives that we need to take out of this.
The players showed they were good enough, Dylan. And
Yes.
regardless of what happens with the manager going forward, they showed enough yesterday to show
Mm-hmm.
me that there's enough fight, there's enough determination in the squad to
Yeah.
get ourselves out of trouble. Look, it's still going to be a very tough ask because you're looking at who goes down in place of us now. As we're speaking now, West Ham are losing 2-0 to Liverpool, so that's a really good result to us. So, yeah, we just need to keep battling, keep fighting, and pick up as many points as we possibly can. Dylan, I think we'll get into a couple of the goals. We'll go through it and get your thoughts in the chat as well, guys, what you thought of this. So this is City's first goal, so this is 59 seconds into the game, and we spoke about it, Dylan, in our match preview that we needed to keep City out for as long as possible to give ourselves a full hold in the game. 59 seconds in, not a great start. We put ourselves on the back foot. And again, Dylan, it comes from that left-hand side from Leeds United. James Justin and Willie Gnonto, for me, don't do enough. It's a 1-2 between Bernardo Silva and Nunes. He's in behind. But again, what's the most frustrating thing here, Dylan, is that you see two Leeds United players. It's Ethan Ampadu and Ilya Gruev. Again, caught ball watching. And you Phil Foden there in white. He's free, Dylan. He's absolutely free again. And many times have we said this over the last couple of weeks, and particularly away games for Leeds United. Happened against Aston Villa as well at home for the Rodgers goal. Again, free in the box. But the cross allowed to come in and someone free in the box. And you can see here in the next slide, Dylan, there's 3 Leeds United players in the vicinity of Phil Foden and don't pick him up. All 3 are ball watching. Pascal Struijk, Ethan Ampadu and Ilya Gruev are all watching the ball. The ball comes across to Phil Foden. And then Dylan, it's, with his quality, he's going to put the ball in the back of the net. So again, it's the same occurring theme that we've seen Leeds United conceding over the last couple of weeks.
It's getting tired, Darren. I am getting tired of it. Of being frustrated over it because we've said it numerous times. These are professional athletes. Me and you were sitting here, and people that are watching this or watching the game can see that Wyckoff Fark, and that needs to be nipped in the bud straight away because this is a long, cruel season. And if we can't pick up our players, a free man in the box, or putting the ball across the box like that and can't defend it, or just seems to be solely concentrated. If you look at every single one of them players there, every single one of their heads are looking at that ball and not being aware of their surroundings, i.e. Phil Foden just coming in.
You wonder what it is though, Dylan, because it's
a breakdown in communication.
It's the very basics of football of pick up your man. Like, who is your man? Where is your man? Not to be caught ball watching. Like, there, I think James Justin and Gnonto should be doing better. They have to stop that 1-2 between Silva and Nunes. He gets in behind. But then you're looking then, Dylan, to your defenders then and your midfield to get you out of a little bit of trouble. And Phil Foden just allowed Waltz into the box. And we've seen that over the last couple of weeks. When you look back to Rodgers against Aston Villa, Gibbs, White away on Nottingham Forest, the same thing he was allowed to do as well. So it is becoming a recurring theme for Leeds United, and it has to stop, Dylan, because teams are going to start isolating that now, aren't they? They know if they can get in behind on either flank, cut back into the box, you're scoring a goal then.
Scoring a goal every time, and it's the most easiest way to score a goal. You class it as like a tap in, and that's what's frustrating, trying to establish ourselves as a Premier League team. But as I said there, you look at the 3 players that you have circled there, every single one of them are looking at the ball, and that's what's frustrating. There's no surroundings, they're not worried about what is to come in. And let's be honest, if that ball had been put back to even Haaland, he would have had a serious chance as well. I know you could say Rodon was there kind of uptight up against him, what it looks to be, but there's no reason for that many Leeds players to be that in depth so close to the 6-yard box to not pick up your man. That's
definitely he has to look at it. Look, he gets a little bit of luck Foden as well. It goes in off the crossbar. City go 1-0 up, and then Leeds United are on the back foot, Dylan. But I want to move on to the second goal fairly swiftly because look, it was one of them. It's a corner straight into the box. But I think the main talking point about City's second goal is obviously Foden is down the far side here. He looks like he's offside. It's not checked by VAR. Look, it is what it is. But the main one here for me is Bernardo Silva on Lucas Perry. For me, guys, my personal opinion, I think this is a foul on the goalkeeper. And you go back to Harry Kane against Meslier, back the last time we were in the Premier League. This is very similar. And he gets away with it as well. But for me, Dylan, that's a foul on Lucas Perry. He's pulling out of him. He's not giving the keeper a free run on him. But the other side of it as well, Dylan, we've seen other teams. I think one of our men should be in there trying to get Bernardo Silva away from Lucas Perry so he has a free run to come out to try and claim the ball or punch the ball, whatever it may be. I don't think the keeper should be allowed be isolated with one of their players. So we need to look at that as well. Can Ampadu, can Rodon maybe go in there? Well, not so much Rodon because you need him to win the ball. But can you get someone like, say, Willie Gnonto in there to try and get Bernardo Silva away from Lucas Perry a little bit? So, but for me,
there's someone at the edge of the box.
Like a foul.
It was a foul, 100%. There's someone at the edge of the box there. I think it's Dan James. Then you've Tanaka and Gruev right beside Haaland. You've 2 City players in there with 3 Leeds players. Rodon, obviously, as you said there, to win the header, and then Doku, I think it is, behind Ampadu. Yet again, you could say it's surrounding. So why? What I'm trying to say is here, why is there 4 Leeds players and Holland's in the middle of them, and you can't pick up like that Bernardo Silva in the edge of the box? Come across and help your goalkeeper out. Help the goalkeeper out.
Yeah, I think so as well. And look, it comes in, Perry doesn't get a clean fist on it because Bernardo Silva's blocking his line to come out and try and claim the ball. And then it's anyone's game there, Dylan. And then Gardaval, then he puts it in, and it's a bit of a scramble in the box. And City go 2-0 up. And then, as I said, you're probably fearing the worst in the game, Dylan. These, 2-0 down, 25 minutes away at the Etihad, and you're thinking, oh, it's going to be a long day for Leeds United. But we'll move on, Dylan. Second half, Daniel Farke is brave enough. We criticise him when he does things wrong, but we do have to give him some plaudits. He did change it at halftime. I didn't think he would. Reverted to the 3-5-2 and made some personnel changes, Dylan, and we did look a lot better coming out in that second half.
Way better. Seemed like at the races. I don't know if he gave them a sort of pep talk where he just told them more or less, lads, if you don't try and claw yourself back into this, I don't think I'll be here tomorrow. But they seemed a bit more intact. They knew it must have been just the system, Darren. I think the system suited them as well. Yeah. And then you could say, are we relying too much on Calvert-Lewin in the sense of when he does start, he doesn't really make an impact, but when he's coming off the bench, he is making an impact. So could be something to do with that as well. I genuinely think it's all a collective, if I'm being honest. The players that are being utilised, and one player in particular for me, I think Gruev. I think Gruev was very good yesterday. Very good.
Yeah, he went under the radar, yeah.
And I know we say, is he Premier League quality? Probably not. But he has that dogness in him. He has that bit of bite or between his teeth, as you'd like to say, that he'll give you 110%. He's not that quality, but
that was a championship midfield in there yesterday, Dylan. And when we changed it to the 3-5-2, we were able to deal with City's midfield, multi-million-pound player. So it shows that it can be done. But I'm with you as well. I think Daniel Farke, he has to learn to trust his side a little bit more, Dylan. Especially, look, I made a video on it the other day about Bial, Justin, and Barnell. And look, at Barnell is injured now. But to be barely seeing Bial, barely seeing Justin, he needs to start rotating the squad a little bit more. In a way, then it puts competition on them players that are starting and probably got a little bit comfortable thinking, yeah, I'm going to start week in, week out, particularly on that left-hand side. I like Gabby Goodmunson, but I do think that probably gives him a little bit of kick up the hole and say, look, you need to be better defending-wise, and Okafor as well, because down that left-hand side, we were particularly poor defending-wise. So I do think it needed a shake-up. So he does have to start rotating the squad a little bit more. And yesterday it proved that the players came in, Justin, Gruev, Calvert-Lewin, Meche, they can all do a job when they come in. So it's good signs.
Great signs. And if Longstaff and Stack were fit as well, they would have been probably game changers as well in the middle of the park. So I'm more happy with the fact, even with Bial, Darren, sorry, as well. Actually, a shout out. I thought he done all right as well. It was just
I'm gonna get on to Bial, Dylan. Yeah. I'm gonna get on to, because I thought that's the Bial that we signed. That's the Bial that we paid £15 million for. But he looked a lot more comfortable in that back three, Dylan, with Rodon and Pascal beside him. We looked solid. So, again, I think it benefits the whole team and it benefits Bial as well. So, that's how you get him into this side for me.
It's starting to utilise every player's kind of individual bit of Stardust quality. You use Bogle there as well. Goodmunson being our main attacking threat. So, I really am starting to believe that the five at the back is probably the main way we should be going forward here. And then, chopping and changing the midfield. Start utilising Gruev as well. Start utilising Justin, Nonto, Okafor, even Aronson as well. Yeah. And one of the lads texted me saying, when he seen Aronson coming on, here we go, sort of thing, and I was kind of like, no, now's actually a good time to bring him on for the last 10 minutes, just for that bit of running around, the dogness in him. He probably will get the ball and try and make an impact somehow. So that's what you should be utilizing. Just utilise all your players. That's all I want.
Yeah, let's hope he starts to do it. Matt Leeds says we need to be able to change formation in game, and having players on the bench who can play multiple positions is a great thing to have. And I think you're right there. And we have got the players to do it. We do, but Daniel Farke needs to be brave enough. He needs to be willing to take them risks. He talks about taking risks, but I think him as a manager, he needs to start taking these risks and be a little bit more brave and trusting himself and trusting the players. Dylan, let's move on to Leeds United's first goal as well. And I picked out this slide in particular because this is something that we haven't seen from Leeds, Dylan, in multiple away games. committing forward, getting bodies in and around the front line. And you can see we're committed 5 bodies forward there. And this is where the Calvert-Lewin goal comes from. Now, there was a half a question of an offside, as you can see there. He's clearly onside. It's a good run in behind. But he does get a little bit of luck. It does have to be said. It does ricochet off him, comes back, and it's a proper striker's goal, Dylan. He's there, right place at the right time. They all count. It doesn't matter how they go in.
Doesn't matter. It's building confidence, building morale. That's why we signed him to come into this team and try and put goals in the back of the net. I've been a bit harsh on him because I just feel like same thing. You know, you go back to the system, it doesn't suit him, and the ball just gets knocked up to him. But now when you have Mecha in and around him like that to take it down as well, and knock it off, it's, you know, playing to his strengths. But yeah, true striker's goal. Look, delighted to see him get on the score sheet. I think every week you want him to, because he's that type of player, similar to Paddy Bamford in the sense of when it comes to confidence. When he does score, it builds him that. It builds that in his mind. So I'm delighted to see that he scored, and hopefully now the next outing I really would.
That's it. That's the two front men scoring yesterday in Mecha and Calvert-Lewin. So I want to see them start. I want to see them start against Chelsea. I beg Daniel Farke, do not revert back to the 4-3-3 against Chelsea. Go with the 3-5-2. Be brave and let's put it up against them at Elland Road. Dylan, let's move on then to Leeds United's equaliser. So again, this was a bit of a half shout that it wasn't a penalty to Leeds United. To me, Gardaball comes in. He takes Calvert-Lewin out first before he gets anywhere near the ball. For me, stonewall penalty. Let us know in the chat, guys, what you think. Dylan, I think without a shadow of doubt, it was a penalty. There was no way this one was going to be overturned.
It wasn't even up for a question. You could hear and see on the telly what they were trying to get at. That, you know, he kind of made the ball before he got committed the foul, but he cleaned them out. It was a stonewaller. There's no question about it. And you know, football like this nowadays, the way they have to keep going to VAR and they can't make a decision, and you could see everyone kind of looking at the referee and trying to get into the referee's ear. It drives me mad. It drives me absolutely nuts. Like, you know, just go to VAR, have a look at it. That's a penalty, and the end of it. So yeah, 100% it was stonewaller for me, and Mecha, a bit of luck. A bit of luck.
He got a little bit of luck, and I have this slide here, Dylan. It does have to be said, it wasn't a great penalty. It was particularly poor. Right height for Donnarumma, not directly into the corner as well. And I was a little bit nervous when he was coming up to take it because Donnarumma is such a big frame. He covers an awful lot of the goal. But look at Dylan, he gets a slice of luck. It's a good save from Donnarumma. It does have to be said. We're going to get into his antics now in a minute. But Mecha gets the rebound, a nice little tap in, and it's 2-2. And then you're in dreamland then, Dylan. Leeds United have to claw it back. Then them little thoughts come into your head. Can we do it?
That's why the bank statements are going to show up me putting a bet on. I put a bet on straight away for Leeds to win 3-2. I called it, obviously, in our match build up. I was convinced that this is it. This is the Leeds that I want to see. It just seemed everything seemed different. There was more hype about it. You forget about the first half. Just coming out into the second half, just more confidence. Obviously, me, you, Stephen, and John were texting in the chat. And between the four of us, we were all kind of saying we can do this. This is going to happen, you know. And you go back to what I was saying about the top 6 clubs. I was like, here we go. This is it now. This is, you know, we're losing against these small clubs. No disrespect, but and then we're gonna, you know, win 3-2 against City here, and everyone will be happy again, and sort of thing. But look, you know, based on the performance alone, I'm pleased. I am.
Yeah, me too, Dylan, and absolutely. And I think we put City under an awful lot of pressure in that second half as well. We were pressing them up high. They were a lot of balls that they had were going out for throw-ins, and a lot of loose passes from them from our pressure. And we really hassled and harried them. We were getting stuck into challenges, and I like that we ruffled them up a little bit in that second half. So it was great to see. We're really dragging them down to our level. Stephen Bourne says, no debating that it was a definite penalty, and Silva should have been sent off for a second yellow for a dive. And I agree with you as well. I was going to get into that as well because that's a main talking point in the game as well. I thought he should have been sent off. It was a clear and obvious dive from Bernardo Silva. But again, lads, I think we've all watched the Premier League over the last couple of years. These big teams get away with all that. All them big decisions, they'll always get away with it. If that was a Leeds United player or any team down the lower end of the Premier League, you'd bet your bottom dollar that they're going to be pulled up and get a second yellow card. But it is what it is. And Silva's one of them as well. He's one of them type of players. Fantastic football player. But he's one of them that look at him just like...
He's a whingy little...
He's one of them. He knows how to ruffle feathers, in fairness to him. Right, let's move on to City's winner. And again, Dylan, I'm probably going to be a little bit harsher. And let me know in the chat if I am, because this is just my thoughts at the minute, and you might be able to sway my decision a little bit. But I think Ethan Ampadu and Tanaka could do a little bit better here. Again, Phil Foden is able to pick up the ball in our 18-yard box. And look at Phil Foden is a fantastic footballer. Absolutely fantastic. But I think Ampadu and Tanaka can get a little bit closer to him there and do a little bit better. How he's allowed to get a shot off here is beyond me. And again, I don't know if I'm being a little bit harsh. Tell me if I am. But if you roll it on to the next slide, how he's able to get across Ampadu and Tanaka here and able to get a shot off Dylan, for me, it's not good enough. We have to be at least stopping a shot going in there.
Regardless of that, Darren, if you go back to the last slide, just for 1 second.
Back to the last one. Yeah.
You're saying they're Ampadu and Tanaka. 100% I agree. I think they should be doing better. But look at the amount of City players behind them. So why couldn't the likes of Okafor, I think that's Calvert-Lewin.
That's Calvert-Lewin just beside him as well. Yeah.
So he obviously beat one of them. Like, why did it take to get by Okafor or Calvert-Lewin, or if a pass was laid off, whatever it may be? It's clearly obvious that Ampadu and Tanaka were man marking the boys that are behind them. But then obviously now if you go to the next slide.
Yeah, sorry, it was pulling up a comment there. Caught me off guard there.
Oh, sorry. Look at the amount of them now.
Yeah.
And look at the Leeds players. Like, that's just screaming out blue there for me, for players.
Do you think, Dylan, that the players put so much into that second half performance? Do you think when they seen 10 minutes going up on the board that they were a little bit good? Because I felt, as soon as the 10 minutes came up, I said, see, you're going to score. I don't know what it was. It's just that, the instinct in you that where did he get 10 minutes from? Like, for me, I was thinking probably 6 at the most, and lucky he scored. But do you think that might have played into the Leeds players' psyche a little bit, that, we still have another 10 minutes of trying to keep these out here?
I think they done well holding their own. Like, City created a good few chances. I think they done very well at keeping Haaland quiet now. Whether they done that out of talent or Haaland was just simply, I ain't doing much here today. This is my club, meaning Leeds, and I'm not going to do it on them. But it could be a mentality thing. It seemed to be for there a while during the game. We held our own, didn't really do anything with the ball, and it seemed to be we were kind of counting down the minutes. I think Ampadu went down, and you could see Fark actually instructing to stay down. So. Would have been pleased with a draw, if I'm being honest with you. But then, yet again, when you see 10 minutes coming up on the clock, when it's 90 minutes just before they put the 10 minutes on the clock, you kind of think to yourself, maybe we can get a counter-attack here and try it.
Because we were pushing up into that. We didn't really have anything clear-cut, but with a couple of long throws into the box from Ampadu, and it felt like we were just starting to apply the pressure to see a little bit more. And then when the 10 minutes came up, you're thinking, right, this is anyone's game here. And I genuinely feel, Dylan, in that second half, it's just pure quality. Quality shone through in that game and Phil Foden, and he has it in abundance. And that's just that type of player that Leeds United don't have. Someone that's been able to, pick it out like that. And we just don't have it in our team. But it wasn't for the want to try. And the lads gave absolutely everything in that second half, which looked like. And if you had asked any Leeds United fan at half time, everyone would have turned around and said, this is going to go on to 5, 6, 7. Leeds United are going to get absolutely hammered. So there definitely is positives to take, but also there is, Dylan, some of the reoccurring issues that we have seen over the last couple of weeks, not picking up our men, being able to get shots in, cutbacks and free men in the box and stuff like that. So again, it's still that same issue that Daniel Farke has to be looking at going forward. Leeds United really need to knock it on the head, and whatever happens to Daniel Farke's future after this, the new manager really has to look at that because it's becoming an issue.
It's frustrating, Darren, because we go back to the transfer window when we bought all these defenders, 15 million for Bial, 5 million for Bono. We seem to be our strongest part of the pitch was the defence. We seem to be letting a lot of goals in, and stupid goals at that as well, as you said, i.e. top ends, not marking men, etc. But then the other end now, Calvert-Lewin and Mecha is at the scoring goals up the other end, and you're kind of like, oh my God, here we go again. It's either one end or the other end. So the defence needs to kind of sort itself out, and we kind of, as I said, that was our bread and butter, was our defence. Road
we need
on
to get back to that, yeah.
We need to get back into that kind of role, and hopefully then chip in with a few goals along the way. So, going into the next games, the defence really need to show up shop completely, because it's going to look very bad on the board. It's going to look bad on Fark. The money that went into this defence, and they can't close down our men.
Just picking up the man. I don't fully blame the defence either, Dylan. It's a collective. The way I look at it, when you have the ball, you're all attackers. Without the ball, you're all defenders. That's the way I look at football. It's all one. It's all a team. There's times, Dylan, where I think the midfield is letting the back line down as well. It's slowly falling on the back line. Now, from that left-hand side, it is down to Goodmunson, it is down to Okafor, James Jules and Nonto, whoever's playing on that left-hand side. to stop them 1-2s and stop them getting in behind. If they do with their quality, when the ball comes into the box, there shouldn't be a free man. There shouldn't be a free man in the box being able to tap the ball into the net. We've seen it far too many times this season. So that definitely, you look at the midfield there for that needs to change. So far, because I'm saying, track your runners into the box once they go down the wings, and it should try and sort that problem out. Look, you're still going to get a couple of goals, but not leaking as many as we have been.
Yeah, it's the left-hand side again. You said it yourself, and what more is there to do? It's great to see Nanto come back in as well, because, you know, to be fair to him, Darren, last season especially, we've seen a lot of his tracking back, and he was doing well on the defence. You know, he'd win the ball back very, very well. Obviously, the partnership between him, if he was playing on the left, and obviously Firpo at the time. But that's the worry for me, is they just bomb it up that corner, get by good months, and then put it across the box like that. And 3 men coming in, and we need to kind of nip it in the board as quick as we possibly can, because, as I said, it's going to come back on the board. I know it's a collective thing. I know it's a midfield breakdown. It's just a switch off, people not tracking runners, etc. I know, but with the money that they've spent on the team itself, and it's more or less like they invested in the defensive side of it, whether it is centre halves, fullbacks, and yet again, they can't do the one thing that you're learned schoolboy level, is to track your runners and stop a tap in from coming in. But then, you know, more or less you could say Gruev, Ampadu as well, they need to be kind of a bit more switched on as well, and more aware of their surroundings. So,
yeah,
I agree though, it is a collective thing.
Absolutely. Connor says here, do you think the second half change of tactics, getting a tune out of Watt has kept him his job? I think so, Connor. I do, because I think if we probably had stayed with the 4-3-3 and City put 5, 6, 7 passes, I think you probably would have seen him lose his job. So I do think the second half performance probably has preserved his job for now. I still don't think it makes him safe. As I said at the start of the show, I still do think it's Dino Farke's time to go. Personally, look, it's just my opinion. It's going to take an awful lot for Dino Farke to try and turn this around and regain it. But look, all we have to see. To be honest with you guys, the way I am with the manager situation, I'm just going to wait and see what happens, because we've talked about it, the whole lot of us over the last 3 weeks, haven't we, about Daniel Farke's future. Is he gone? Is he staying? Who's the next coming in? So whenever it happens or whatever happens, it is what it is. I've decided I'm just going to support the lads on the pitch. I want the best out of this group of players and keeping Leeds United in the Premier League. So whenever that happens, we'll speak about it then, but we'll see. Big week coming up for Leeds United, though. Chelsea midweek, and then obviously Liverpool next weekend. So we'll see what happens.
Which I'm going to. Woo! Get in there. I can't wait for that one.
Emmett says here, Goodmunson hasn't been good lately, hasn't been good enough recently. He needed to come out. Justin looked okay. I really like that, Emmett. I really do. I like the way Justin came in, put in a good account of themselves, and that's what I said. It pushes Gabby now that you don't have a free roam here. You need to be putting it in every single time. So it's good to see. And it goes back to that whole squad rotation again, doesn't it? That we need to be able to change it up a little bit and rotate it. And I think that 3-5-2 gives us better options, better substitutions to come on as well, rather than that 4-3-3 when we're trying to square pegs and round holes. It suits us a lot better. Dylan, I want to move on to the elephant in the room, and it is this man, Gianluigi Donnarumma, for a part of the game. Dylan went down injured, nobody around him. Look, some people are on the side that it is what it is. It's winning the rules. I'm on the side of it that it's not right, in my opinion. It goes against sportsmanship. It goes against everything that you're taught about. To me, it's blatant cheating, to be honest with you. He goes down, he's not injured, and it gives Pep a chance to pull his team over and have a conversation. What did you make of it? And you guys in the chat as well, get your thoughts in as well, because this is obviously an interesting one.
Do you want me to be honest?
Absolutely. We're always honest.
Completely honest. I think they're a bunch of cheats, I'm being honest with you. I think they should be not necessarily stripped of titles. I think they should be deducted points. I think they should be relegated. I mean, just calling it out, it is. I just think Manchester City, for me, and it's great to see the football that they play and Pep the way that he is, etc. But they've just been cheating from back in 2010. It's as simple as that. I'm not just including this game here. It's the mentality of the club. It could be just a Manchester thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking along the way from, as I said, 2010 the whole way up until now. They've done it all, and I sound like Brian Clough here. They've done it by bloody cheating, and it's as simple as that. So take all your pots, chuck them in the bin, every single one of them. But yeah, it is. It's bad sportsmanship. It's as simple as that. Look, don't get me wrong. If if the shoe was on your foot, I'd be clapping and delighted with Perry,
Well,
you know.
that's where I'm at with now. Like Emmett says there in the chat, it was smart from Diarrhea. That's what I think. That's a good name. I think we'll start calling him that now as well. He knew exactly that a chat was needed, and he went down. And Pep obviously tried to spin it in his post match as well that he didn't know anything about it. He did, and then if you see right at the very end, he gives a little wink. He knows exactly about it. But my kind of side of it is, Dylan, like if it is going to be allowed run on, and this is going to be a thing going forward, this is a little loophole that Man City have found. Well, that's fine, fair enough. But then I want Leeds United to start applying it, and I want every other team to start applying it until the authorities then step in and go, right, we need to knock this on the head a little bit. Now, look,
they get away with everything, don't they?
Who knows, Dylan? For me personally, it looks like Donnarumma wasn't injured. If you go back to when the physios come on, they're holding their earphone, they're talking to him, he's nodding his head, and all of a sudden he's up. They don't touch him, they don't go near him, he gets back up and he's back in goal and he's fine to continue. But all 10 of the Man City players come straight across to Pep Guardiola and he's talking to every single one of them. And it felt like a little bit like an NFL timeout. And you don't want to see that in the Premier League. Football is all about fast flowing, quick football, entertaining. And for this, Dylan, it's a deliberate ploy to stop the game, to pull his players in. When Leeds United were starting to get on top in the game, that's what I don't like about it. For me, it just, it doesn't sit with me. It just doesn't feel right. Very smart, not against the rules, absolutely. So if that's the way it's going to be, then I want Leeds United to start applying that then going forward as well.
Yeah, exactly. Every team should, but you look at it along the lines of Man City have done it. They're, let's be honest, they're scumbags are doing it. But when you fast forward it could be simply down to the officials as well. Why didn't the officials step in? Why didn't they why didn't the ref take control of the game, what he's paid to do, and get back on the pitch, lads? Start handing out yellow cards. That, shown some sort of dominance that, like, I'm in charge of the game here. So, yeah, you're right, Darren. If it's going down that route of an NFL where you do timeouts, then we start utilising it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's where you do look at the officials, Dylan. What Martin says here is that you look to the referee then. Now, maybe if there's something going forward, there is going to be cases that goalkeepers are going to get injured and they're going to need some treatment, and that's fine. But it can't be a thing that all 10 of your players then come over to the sideline then and have a team talk. So maybe just the captain goes across for the manager to put some, instruction forward, change this, change that. But for all 10 of them, and to how deliberate it actually is, I think it's wrong. Personally, I think it's wrong going forward. But look, it is what it is. And look what Daniel Farke says, you can't use it as an excuse. I personally don't think it impacted the game. I think City's quality shone through in the end and ultimately they go and win the game. But there's just a part of me, it just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with me at all. And yeah, that's how I feel. Some people think it's fine. Like Sean Healy says there, I don't mind it. We need to stop being the nice guys. But like, see, I do mind it, Sean, though, because it's against us. Do you know what I mean, buddy? But maybe you're right. Maybe we do.
What would you do when a player does go down for a certain amount of time and then he's been told to go to the sideline? The game, and you more or less play with 10 men for a minute and a half. Start doing it with goalies.
Yeah.
Leave the net wide open. I guarantee they won't do it then.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Let's see what a couple of people are saying in the chat. Stephen Bourne says they're above the law and it's so blatant to see. Nothing will happen to them. Call timeout mid-game because they are untouchable. Exactly, Paul. Exactly. Yeah. And you could bet it, if that was Leeds United and that was the other way around, you guarantee it'd be called out and would probably get, deducted points and fines and all again. Look at Bielsa. Bielsa didn't break any rules that time, but he was done for 200,000 for not sporting merit. For me, this is not sporting merit. It's in the exact same category. Two totally different situations, but I think it's along the same lines. Blatantly stopping the game to get a team talk in. It doesn't sit right with me, regardless of whatever way you put it. Danny says, should have sent Pep off. He wouldn't do it again. And he spoke about it as well. I don't think you probably will see them doing it again because he found a little loophole and he did a little wink at the end of it. And he knows now the eye is going to be on them. And it's particularly frustrating, Dylan, because that's when Leeds United were starting to get on top in the game. So that's exactly why he done it.
It's, what was the word I was going to use? A cowardly way. Yeah. Simple as that. He knew that we were coming back into it with the quality and money and the players that they have. It seems to be on paper that, what we all said, that we were going to get smashed 5-6-0, but then to come out and do what we done, and he was obviously nervous and worried at the fact that we were starting to kind of control the game a bit more and they weren't as good as they thought they were. And look, he had to do it by cheating, by making the keeper go down in order to get his players over to give the instruction that he needed to give. So if that's the way that they want to do it, that's fair enough. But like what I said, it's mad how they get a half-time team kind of talk and they can't give it there and then. So look, it is what it is. I'm not going to be too worried about it.
Yeah.
If you
As I
need
said,
that, if you need to
I
have,
don't think it had any bearing on the game. I'm not sitting here thinking, but because Donnarumma went down injured and Pep had this little team talk that somehow made Phil Foden scored a goal to make them win the game. I don't think that whatsoever, but I just think, look, within the sport merit of the game, I just think it was wrong. Deliberately stopping the game, I don't think is right personally. But as you said, Dylan, it is what it is, and maybe we probably have to stop being the nice guys. Maybe we have to start looking at little loopholes like this and
oh no, we'd be fine.
like this. But what Connor says
fine,
here,
dude.
if it was the other way around, imagine it'd be all over national news, and it would be. We've seen Pep do this sort of thing before, particularly, after games. Like, you've seen him do it with Haaland as well. It's all for cameras and all as well with Pep as well. And okay, hopefully the chickens come home to roost one day for Manchester City, because it's a continuous situation with them, isn't it? If Donnarumma had been a keeper, we would slap him. Yeah, absolutely, we would be. Right, Dylan, I think we will wrap it up there. It's going to be a busy week for us next week as we look ahead to Chelsea on Wednesday. We'll have a match preview out for that, a match reaction, and then we're going to have to do another build-up then ahead of Liverpool. And then, of course, we're going over as well to the game of Liverpool as well, so we will have a match blog for that. Anyone that's knocking about Leeds on Saturday will be in the mute as well. Pop in, have a point, and have a chat. Dylan will be there Friday night, exactly. Dylan will be there on Friday night, so pop in and have a chat with us. Dylan, have you anything more to say before we wrap it up and say goodnight to all these wonderful people?
Come on down to the mill Friday night and I'll go over a point. That's what I want to say. hopefully get a nice 3 points off Chelsea and build up then onto Liverpool. And, they're not in a great place. So,
we'll
hopefully, please God.
We'll go from there. Right, lads, we wrap it up there. I'm going to go watch Chelsea and Arsenal because I do think it's going to be a good game. So that's it from us, guys. Hope you did enjoy the show. If you did, please make sure you drop a like on the video and, of course, hit subscribe to the channel. So mind yourselves, mind each other. We'll catch you in the next one.